What is up? Happy Friday. Welcome to another what? I changed the scene. What is up? Happy Friday. Welcome to another 8-bit. I changed the scene and I'm talking to the logo, JP. And then I had to hit the button again, but we're here.
Good morning, logo.
It's just change. We're ready to move on. We're ready to do the show. Welcome to 2.2 of 8-bits. On the last day of January 2014. It's hard enough to convert over the year, remember when people used to write checks and they're like, oh, it always takes me forever before I start writing the proper year into the year. But dude, I actually cannot believe that a whole month has gone by and I still say 2013. I'm bad.
See, I got lucky. It already feels like it's 2015 for me because January was such a long month.
What? My God, January went
For me, it was there was a week in January. It was just well, that was a fucking stressful year. I drank a lot that year. I'm glad that year's over. Fuck 2014. I'm ready for 2015.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Well, it'll come quick enough, man. It'll definitely come quick enough. Anyway, welcome to another week of 8-bits. We're going to be talking about what we've been playing, some of the news this week, and also be taking your phone calls. I think we should jump, right into to what we're playing. I pretty much want to interrogate the shit out of you, dude, and find out because last week we had a caller call up and say, "Hey guys, what do you think about Might and Magic X? It just or 10, it just came out, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it." And JP's like, "All right, man. All right, so sell me this game." And the guy did his job, and he sold the game, which is something we might incorporate later. But I want to hear about it, JP. You've gone in fucking balls deep, dude.
Yeah. I also made up not an acronym. Is it an acronym?
What?
When he shortened the name into three.
Yeah, an acronym.
Yeah, so I made up the wrong one. I call it MimX. Because that sounds fucking awesome, right? Instead of MMX. That sounds like a fucking wrestling league or something.
MMX
so
just reminds me of that old shitty thing that they used to put on processors to you could have media boost with MMX technology. What?
I like MimX.
MimX.
But that I'm I'm gonna be playing some MimX, and people are like, "What the fuck is what are you talking?" There's no this? I in Might and Magic 10 or whatever. JP, you're just making words up. All right, so where do I start with this game? So it's one of those games where I wanted the game to be able to play and not be able to not feel guilty for not streaming it is the best way to relate that. So I started off, I made 4 characters, and I played for probably an hour. Then I realized that the 4 characters I made were fucking god-awful, and I was just going to have, the worst experience of the game. And I was just all right, we're going to recreate. I know what I'm doing now. So I recreated the characters, and now I'm 18 hours in, maybe a little bit more than that. So what the game does right is it has that one more. It's got so much old school feel in it that the game makes you think about what you're doing is the best way to say that. So you'll go and attack something and you'll either get your ass completely fucking beat, or you'll be oh, I actually crit that guy for a pretty good chunk of his HP. Maybe this is possible. Maybe this is actually something I can kill right now in this game. And so with that in mind, that is what keeps me from keeps me playing the game. Is there's always now I can go do this, or now I can get that, or
and that's something that you and I were talking about even after the show last week when we were kind of talking about that was that was the way that those games kept you in it. You reach this forest that you've never been to before, and there's a monster that totally shits on your face. And you're oh my God, I'll go back and grind this one castle until I can defeat these guys and find out what lies beyond it. So it retains that, basically, that whole old school sort of, you want to progress, but you have to sort of level in order to do so.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it also does things that, like in the first area that you go to, you're in like, I think the entire world that you play in is called the Argon Peninsula, but I forget. You start off in like this, this sea haven. No, that's not the town you start in. I don't know. Sopragal by the sea, I think is the town you start in or some shit. And right outside there's like this beach area, and immediately you find like these two caves. If you you kill a couple enemies and eventually find them, and one of them is that Cyclops that you actually just had on the screen.
Yeah.
And I just killed that Cyclops about 17 hours in. So like he's one of the first things that you see in the game, and you can't kill him until like you're level at least 15. And even then it's like a really really hard fight where he'll just like one shot someone if it gets unlucky. And then the other cave is actually this giant purple dragon. I think it's just like a Twilight dragon or some shit. And I ended up killing him at 10, and I felt like people were like, I never killed that guy until I was like 15. So I felt really good about that.
Nice.
And so it feels like that if you have the right spells to be able to allow your characters to not get stunned or paralyzed or some different status effect, which all come into a major play in the game. Like if your character gets poisoned, it's actually really shitty, or if he gets stunned, then he's out of the game for 4 or 5 turns, et cetera, et cetera. And if that happens to like your tank, for example, so the party that I'm running is Paladin, which is Crusader, Crusader Ranger, I think. I'm not sure if it's called that in the game, but it's basically a Ranger. Barbarian, which is just this huge, it's an orc that is a two-handed fighter, and then a rune priest, which is a dwarf caster.
And how many classes are there?
There's 4 races, and each race has 3 classes.
Okay.
And I think the two-handed fighter for humans is actually like the shittiest class in the game, from what I've been told, because they only have. So the way that the classes work is you're able to use your skill points to become a master, or sorry, to become an expert, to become a master, then to become a grandmaster in all of these skills. And each class allows you to grandmaster in 4 skills, except for this human one that only has 3. So it's either a bug, or they just were like, well, this is a dumb class, no one's going to play it anyways. Let's just give it 3. And as you progress to each one of these, the expert, master, and grandmaster, you have to find a NPC in towns across the world that actually give you this unlock. And there's only 1 or 2 per skill. So like the first town that you're in, you can only upgrade like, I don't know, maybe a total of 10 skills. So for example, I could never upgrade like medium armor on my barbarian. I could never upgrade a couple different magic abilities on my rune priest until I got to Act 2 and opened up the next town. And so it kind of gates you in that way. But now being about, I think I'm like halfway through Act 2, I've seen and found a lot of the Grandmaster trainers, which are actually just random people found throughout the world in huts or in secret places or in secret doors behind.
And then you can go back there when.
Right, but when you go to them, they have like this quest that you have to do for them. Like you have to do X for them, and then that's gated by having some sort of some sort of like story related ability where you can walk on water or something with that, something like that. So
give me like the quick and dirty on the combat, right? Because in old school ways, is like sort of turn based, but there's also. It's not necessarily like a single plane you're turn-based fighting, right? Because the level and how far away you are from different monsters like also determines how the combat goes down. Is that accurate?
For the most part, yeah. So combat it's incredibly turn-based. So
okay,
when you go in and attack, you can get so for example, let's talk about that Cyclops fight. The Cyclops fight starts 2 tiles away from you. You can hit him with your bow, defend on the 2 melee characters, and then use your magic user and throw a fireball at him. Then your turn is over. He makes a turn. He moves towards you. You do the same actions. Turn is over. He moves towards you. Then your melee characters are able to fight. But before he gets to you, the best thing to do is to use your buffs on your other characters so that the next
Right.
turn you don't have to waste a turn when he's in melee range to use buffs. So
Right.
like my Crusader, aka my Paladin, all she does is just spam this shield ability that puts this shield on the entire party that sucks up damage. So like the entire game, 18 hours is always hitting 3 on her because it gives us a shield to the entire party that makes them not take damage the next round. Or soaks up at least 100 points of damage or something like that. And then you kind of just keep going back and forth, and every round you tick off a little bit more of his HP, and every round they could do something that is kind of out of left field. The Cyclops has a large sweep attack where it attacks the entire party for I don't know. I don't know the exact numbers, but it seemed like it was over 150 or 200 damage, and it would it would KO someone in the team, which puts them below uh, 0 HP, but they're still able to be healed back over that, and you come back alive that round, and you're still able to
Like
make an
Wasteland.
action. But if you take too much damage, then your character just straight up dies, and they have to be resurrected. Resurrections only happen in towns until later in the game when you unlock light magic,
Wow.
expert or whatever, and then you can resurrect during combat. But it's a huge amount of MP, and that is also on my paladin. So it's like I make the choice: do I want to resurrect this fight or this turn, or do I want to take a shit ton of damage and possibly lose someone else?
So in some of the mechanics of these old school games, like you'd be in the middle of a dungeon and you'd have need to rest, so you could like make camp. Is it something similar here where you rest and then you could get attacked while
Sure.
you're resting and shit?
Uh, you can rest, but you cannot rest during combat. As long as there's
Obviously.
no one, as long as none of the enemies are seeing you and you're not in like aggro range, then you can rest. You have a limited number of rests that you have to refill each time you go to a town when you go to the inn. I think it starts off at like 8, and then the next town is 13, and then the next town is 17, and then the next town is 20, so that you can make your adventures more and more longer. And if you go too long without resting, I want to say it's 24 hours, your characters start to lose. Like I think it starts off and it's like 30% less stats and damage and all that shit. And then it's 70% less. So like you have to rest. It's very, very important. The other big thing in the game is using the health pots. And towards the very beginning of the game, they are a very, very scarce commodity just because you don't have that much gold,
Right.
and they're incredibly expensive, and they're also very hard to come by. Sometimes mobs drop them, sometimes they don't. So that's kind of the main money pit in the beginning of the game. But aside from that, where I'm at now, it's not too big of a problem because I mean I have 20 rest that I can just do at any time, and I'll get full mana, full HP, and cure all status ailments. Or I could sit there and pop a pot or two on the fighters.
So I mean that increases the difficulty level overall, I assume.
That is correct. You can also hire hirelings. I think you can only have. I have someone that's doing this quest with me who doesn't do anything in the party except sit there and like he wants this quest to be done. So I don't know if you can have 2 at a time or you can only have 1 at a time. But you hire these hirelings and they do different things, but they also take a percentage of your money. So it's like 3% of any gold you earn goes to them, but they're giving you a well-fed buff every time you rest, which is like 10% more everything. Or there was some hireling that I met
Hmm.
the other day that wanted to take 50% of my gold, but he would buy or sell items that I found from monsters, and I didn't pick them up because 50% of my gold is a lot, and I didn't want to deal with that. But I think it's like a traveling salesman is what it is. So you don't have to go back to town to sell your items.
Oh,
So that's kind
okay,
of
okay, okay. Now you
uh,
said you're in Act Two, and
yeah.
from what I understand, you've put a lot of time.
I put like yeah. I think I'm like I wonder if you play even tracks how long I've played. We
I
can
think
look.
it. I think it does. Wait, does it also go through Steam? Because whenever I had UPlay open, it would also report in Steam.
You can buy it on Steam, but then it will open Uplay, if that makes sense. Like you buy it on Steam and then it opens Uplay, then it loads the game.
Gotcha.
Um, How do I see how long I've played this? I don't know. I got to figure out this fucking terrible UI. So that's like the good parts of the game. Uh, and there's not really any bad parts of the game when it comes to the actual game itself. Like the rule sets and everything that you have to follow. It's all very old school, and for me, it was all very enjoyable. The shitty thing about the game is that it runs like complete ass, and it also
Wait,
fucking
really?
is super taxing on your machine. Like I have a 780 Ti, right? And there are
Yeah.
parts where I get like 10 FPS, and there are parts where I will move forward in the tile and it moves into like a mountainous area, and there's like a hard 3 second freeze, and then everything pops up on the screen. And
And
so like
wow.
and it also runs my TI at like 80% power. So like it's pushing my 780 Ti to like almost max at all times.
So I kind of feel
Super
like that's this doesn't look like a game that
it's it's straight up like it's
just
not a
bad.
bug, but it's bad optimization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the devs have actually come out and said that publicly, where they're
Which is
just like,
something
look,
that could
no, it runs like shit.
potentially, you know, get
Yeah.
resolved with patches and whatnot. But this is also like $15 on Steam. Is that right?
It's actually 25.
25. All right. So now
25,
the
and then
big question: is it worth the 25?
it's $30 for like the deluxe edition that comes with Mind Magic 6, which I think is like the best one from what people have said, or one of the most beloved Mind Magics. I haven't played it yet, so I don't know. But I got it through. I kind of have a tilted perspective because I got it for $17, the $30 version from Green Man Gaming, because there was a 30% off code and I had $4 credit. So for $17, I'm having a lot of fun, right? But
Right.
if I put 18 hours into a game, or even 15 hours into a game, hell, even 10 hours, I put 11
Yeah,
hours into Last of Us. That's worth a $50 purchase for me, right?
I have to agree. I mean, most times, right? There's going to be some
Yeah, yeah.
exceptions there.
There are also some very frustrating moments in this game. For example, like the other night, I think I tweeted where I was just like, I don't know what to do. There are no monsters I can fight right now that are manageable that I can actually kill. And so like I went to sleep that night, and then like as I'm like passing out, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go fight those orcs that killed me that one time. I bet you I can fight those guys now. And then I'm like, no, I want to sleep. No. And I like passed out. And I woke up and I was like, I gotta go kill those orcs. So then I like logged in right when I woke up and went and fought the orcs, and I was able to fight them. So like I found the next area to go. But right now, I'm right back at the same place where it's just like, I have no fucking clue. I have maybe an idea, but I don't think it's gonna work because the last time I fought these guys, they like one-shot me. And it's not like when you fight, like you'll go and fight a group of enemies, and they will just fucking destroy you in like 2 hits. Like one of your characters is just dead right off the bat, first attack. You're like, well, it's time to reload. It's time to get out of this area and go somewhere else. There's tons of secrets also in dungeons. You can walk up to a door, or sorry, just a flat wall, and if you don't have this spell on, then it will just be a flat wall. But if you do, you can kind of see some shimmerings in the actual wall, and then you click it, and it says something like, there's a magical barrier that protects this. Which character do you want to use to open it? So then I use my magic user, and the magic user successfully opens it. So you kind of have to correlate stuff with that. There is some pretty old school puzzle stuff where I looked up most of it because I didn't want to fucking deal with this puzzle bullshit.
Like, what level of puzzle are we talking about? We're obviously not talking about get this orb, take this orb here.
No. You gotta like the solutions are actually so convoluted that it took me a long time to even figure them out. Like one of them is like I'm trying to think of the best one. So you walk into this room, it's pitch black, there's no light source at all. So first of all, if you don't have a light ability on your characters, you can't even go there. So like I use the light source, and then there's like 4 pressure plates around this room that is around like a square, and inside there's these raised platforms that you're not really sure what's going on. So like I'm walking around and I hit 2 pressure plates, and somehow they're the correct pressure plates to hit, and like 2 of these things lower down to the ground and open up another pressure plate. So then I have to like click that pressure plate with some other random pressure plate in the room to unlock another thing to go down. And it went on for like 20 minutes. And the solution is that you have to hit like, I think it's like 12 different plates, 12 different plate combinations to unlock everything and then get this relic within the room, which is just a complete side option.
Wow, that
Item.
sounds intense, actually.
Um, I'm trying to. Oh, and there's also like riddles. Like you'll go up to a treasure chest and it'll ask you a riddle, and you have to type in the text input to like get it correct. And if it's not the exact thing, it doesn't matter if it's caps or not. But if it's not the exact word, then it doesn't work. And I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think the items get worse the more you try. But maybe I'm wrong about that. That might just be something I made up, so I feel better about myself when I get it the first try.
So who would you suggest this to, if anyone?
Um, if you are someone that has played any other old school dungeon crawler or want to play any other old school dungeon crawler, I would pick it up. It is a little bit steep at 25. It's going to run like shit on your system. Just accept that. But if you're at all nostalgic towards any of the old school dungeon crawlers, pick it up. And if you've never experienced something like that and want to see what games used to be like on the PC, pick it up. And you might find yourself being addicted. And also
Yeah.
if you enjoy loot and enjoy items and progressing characters forward, this is another great game for that. That's I think why I'm hooked. Because you get relics that also level up their items that level up as they get more XP. They have like 4 or 5 different ranks and they get better. And I don't know. I enjoy that type of shit. So that's who can
All
play
right.
it.
Well, he sold you good, and yeah, I mean, I could attest. He's been in it.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in Mimics.
Mimics, yeah.
All right, so everyone knows that I was really excited for this next title that I'm about to talk about, and that's Octodad, which was released yesterday.
I don't know if they know how excited you were though.
Yeah,
You were like pretty hyped about this game.
yeah, I was super super hyped about this game, and like, maybe to my own danger as well, because I was just, so excited. Sat down, streamed it. 2 hours and 14 minutes later, I was done. And I don't mean done as in done playing the game. I mean done as in that's how long it took me to beat the game.
Yeah.
Now, JP, I like. Did you play it at all?
I
Did you?
downloaded it yesterday when I woke up, or bought it and downloaded it. I played maybe 3 minutes and was
Okay.
just like, "What the fuck? This control scheme
So
is terrible."
yeah, so
I
here's
just, like,
let me explain the control. The whole concept behind the game Octodad, Dadliest Catch, is that you are an octopus who happens to be a husband, and your family doesn't know that you're an octopus. But that means you also have to move around like an octopus. So you don't have a backbone, you just kind of move around all crazy. The movement scheme is pretty difficult in that you grab with your left mouse button using one arm, and then you press the
right.
space bar, and that lets you then press the left mouse button to control your left foot and your right mouse button to control your right foot. So you have to constantly just be clicking buttons and moving your mouse. And the other thing too is when you have your hand, you use the scroll wheel to like change its height.
Yeah.
So it has like a pretty crazy control scheme. I don't know if my brain was just able to adapt to it well, but there was only one part in the whole game where I was actually like, fuck you, control scheme. And it was when like really frantic shit was happening and like one mistake meant that you were fucked. Other than that, the control scheme was actually not as much of a problem as some of the camera angles were, because everything's static based off of where you're at. And there were times where like I was stuck behind like a staircase. I couldn't see where my character was. With all that aside, the worst part about this game is that I wanted it to be 2 hours longer. I wanted it to be 3 hours longer. It was fun. It's hilarious. It's like dry humor with also just some like, silly humor. the whole concept of how you're moving and what you do and the different ways that you can solve puzzles are great. And you could probably go back, JP, and you could probably play this game 10 times and play it differently in different times. Not like dramatically differently, but there's a lot of things that you could do, like little puzzles that you could do that weren't related to the storyline. There's a lot of collectible shit, but you know my stance on that kind of thing. Like, that's not really my thing anymore. So it's sort of the gameplay value of it. As it is, I paid $12 because it's on sale until February 6th for a game that I was able to beat in 2 hours. I had a ridiculous amount of fun, with the exception of, like, the last stage throws some really fucking frustrating shit at you. But you know, I have to say, like, it's just a uniquely refreshing game, you know, because it's just not like anything else out there. And that's what's so great about it. I mean, honestly, the puzzles aren't really that challenging. The challenge is really in mastering the movement and being able to coordinate what you have to do, and you know, holding different stuff, maybe carrying stuff occasionally. You do this one part, JP, where you go to like this little arcade and you have to win 7 prizes for like your wife. And so you have to play like 7 different, they're like ticket games. So I had to play a guy in air hockey, and I had to like, you know, pound shit, and I had to throw basketballs. Dude, throwing basketballs was hard as shit, dude. I'm like, like whipping them like across the fucking arcade and shit. And then eventually you just get it down perfect, and you're like, you're throwing it in. A lot of, I mean, for $12, I had more fun with this game than I'm sure I'll have with some $60 titles that I buy this year. You know, so this is definitely one of those games, JP, where this is going to be the sale king. Right? Like, this game's good. A lot of people will play it when it comes out.
That's true.
But the moment there's like the summer sale and fucking
sale.
Exactly. Octodad's $1.99 or $2.99 or whatever, people are going to buy the shit out of this. So this game is it's going to be successful, whether it's now or whether it's like over time. And it is, you know, it is great to see content like this put out that's really enjoyable. I hope we get more. Yeah. So I mean, other than that, the game itself, while the graphics are very minimalistic, it is just kind of all about that control and you overcoming it. Right. Which Brothers sort of had something, but Brothers decided to take the dramatic route instead of the comedy route.
Right. You know? Right. Yeah, I saw. Did you? By the way, did you see Sean play Brothers?
No. When did he play it?
He played it like
a couple weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, 2 Fridays ago, I think. Yeah. Maybe it was last Friday. Regardless, he got to the point at the end where, spoilers, he like when the control scheme comes into effect. Right? And like he walked around and he was just like, I don't know what to do. I can't get past this water. Like, what am I supposed to do? I don't understand it. And then like he took a break and he came back and he's like, guys, I don't, is this a bug? Is my character like bugged? And then like all of a sudden he accidentally flicked the left stick.
Right.
And he was just like, oh my God. He had like the most emotional reaction to it that I've seen from that game.
What it's supposed to do.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's too bad that Octodad can't do that, you know, like because it went the other way, and that, you know, so, but there are some weird comparisons there because it is sort of mastering that control scheme. The thing is, like, they connect that to Two Brothers, whereas Octodad connects it to what would it be like to be a fucking octopus without a backbone? Probably like this. You know, it's funny when they're like, yo, you have to, because in certain situations, I guess people are like, how is it a game? Like, what exactly is the game element to it? So as they present these different situations to you, JP, like, obviously people have eyesight on you. So they, like, when you tip shit over or you like run over shit because you're like waving your arms and legs around, they like start to take notice that, like, wait, something's wrong with this guy. If the bar fills up all the way, then you know, you're caught and you have to start over.
Okay.
Because of that, they add some stealth into the game. Trust me, trying to be a
I
stealthy
saw you play that part.
octopus is fucking dumb. Like dumb. So dumb. But I overcame. Would I suggest this? I think so. I think so. I mean, if you have to choose between eating a McDonald's, is your last meal or getting this game, I might tell you to still get the McDonald's. But if you have the extra money sitting around, I really did enjoy Octodad. But I think you have to be ready. If you're not someone who is okay with frustrating controls, you should stay the fuck away from this game, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm definitely gonna go back or I definitely will play it. I got to figure out when I will play it. There was a pretty interesting interview that happened on Polygon during their Polygon Live, which was on Wednesday, I think, of this week, and I watched it for about 10 minutes. And they were asking, they had one of the devs there. I think he was the creative director of the team. And they were asking him, like, what was it hard trying to find what the gaminess part of this was and trying to create like levels of this and all that nonsense. And they were like, yeah, it was pretty challenging because at first, like, it was just a stupid, almost a gimmick at one point. And I think, and from what you're telling me, I think they kind of struggled with that a lot. Because, like, the control scheme seems like the biggest hurdle in this game. And once you understand that, it's all just kind of like, it's all not mini games. I don't want to say mini games, but it's all things to do with the control scheme. That seems like the game.
That's very, very accurate. And it's funny that you mentioned the whole concept of like them having a hard time coming up with, what the game element is itself. Because when I think about it, and I'm sure my chat will agree in that it was a bit awkward when the game just kind of ends. You look back and you're like, okay, well, that's obviously the end. But you're just like, well, wait. I mean, and maybe that was because it was so short. And I just like was expecting another 2 hours of what I just played.
Yeah.
Or if it is almost how hollow the story is. Because trust me, guys, you're not going to be playing this game and going, fuck, man, like, I think this might be up there as like one of the greatest, like, emotionally touching and engaging video games. No. Fucking shit's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. I definitely want to play more of it. But yeah, I'm very curious to see how that sails on consoles.
Oh my
It's
God.
been.
Wait, are these the original? Oh my God.
Oh,
these
did
are
you see the student game?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually for
could
people
play
that are
that,
on
right?
people that are on the fence, you can go and look at the Octodad website and play the original game.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. By Young
Deadliest
Horse.
Catch is what this version is
See,
called.
that's what I was a bit confused about that because someone was like, "Oh, it's the sequel. Cool, the sequel." And I'm like, "What do you mean the fucking sequel?" Like, I didn't realize that people were classifying this as sort of the original because I thought it was, like you said, more of just a playground. I didn't know that there is any like any actual gameplay to it, but I guess there is.
Yeah, I think there is.
It must be exactly the same. Yeah,
scheme.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe I'll go back and just try this out too, because that is awesome. But I couldn't see a AAA title for Octodad. I don't think it's happening. Like, I don't know how long they do this for.
If anything, I hope this gets the dev team Young Horses on everyone else's radar, and they are able to make a AAA game because the way that they marketed this game was some of the best I've seen in a long time. Like, it got when it came on during E3, and it's just like this fucking obscure looking random thing that you're like, oh, that has to be an indie game, and of course it is an indie game, but it's just the dumbest fucking thing you've ever seen, and you're like, well, I want to play that. That looks like a shit ton of fun, and it was so well done when they did that during E3 that I hope that everyone gives it a fair shake and everyone tries it out because it is cheap, like it's $10. So
and is it out on like the PS4?
I don't think it's. I think it's only out on PC
Oh,
right
here's
now.
the basketball game. That's awesome.
I don't think it's available on PS4 yet,
Okay.
or on any of the consoles yet. I'm not too sure.
I might. This would be a game. I don't know that I'd go buy it, but like when it comes out on PlayStation Plus or something like that, as it most certainly will. I
Did you
feel
try it with a controller?
no,
Okay.
no, mouse only. But I would be curious to play it with the controller, because that could be interesting.
Yeah.
There's
I
also
want.
a lot of Easter eggs in the game too. It's one thing that I probably didn't pay enough attention to because I wasn't ready for them. But as I started seeing them in the game, I realized that I probably should have. And it's similar like the Stanley Parable, and that they're just like keep your eyes open,
Still haven't played
look
that.
at the little things, listen to what they say, because there's a lot of humor in all of that as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I need to go back and play Stanley Parable as well. But yeah, it's seems like a fun game. I need to check it out, and hopefully everyone else does too.
What else you got for me this week, JP? Or has Mimics been taking everything?
Well, I did 8 hours of D&D yesterday, so that took up my Wednesday. Or wait, Thursday. Jesus. And Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I did play a lot of games, but it was I kind of did like the real ADD gamer thing. So I would like wake up, play some Mimex, and then I'd play that for like 2 hours, and like, all right, well, let's render some videos, let's actually do some work. Started doing all that stuff, and then I'd be like, all right, well, I need to go play around to CS:GO, go play around to CS:GO, play like best of 16 or whatever competitive mode, and be like, all right, well, it's time to go back and need to go do some more stuff, and then be like, well, shit, I could probably play Dota. Then after about like midnight, I'll stop doing work most of the time, and I'll just play games for like 4 or 5 hours, and most of that has been Dota. Most of the nights I've been playing Dota solo queue because no one's awake to play. And while my Spanish has picked up, I've learned some good Spanish in those late night Dota games. I do not enjoy playing with a full Spanish speaking team. It's not an enjoyable experience playing a super team based game with people that you actually can't communicate one bit with. But it still has been fun because it's Dota, and so I'm enjoying that. But it's basically been a mix of CS:GO, Mimex, Dota, and I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, I played a little bit of PlanetSide 2. I'm still kind of on
Did
that.
we even have any major releases this week anyway?
No, Octodad's the only thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I had Dota 2 on my list too, and I wouldn't mind just kind of talking a little bit about the update because they kind of continue to still put out some of the best updates I think that people see.
Yeah.
But another cool thing is that just sort of in the history of Dota is that they're 5 heroes away from completing the roster.
Yeah. Who are those 5 heroes? Do you know?
I know that Tech.
Yeah, Techies is one of them. That's what everyone wants. I don't know the other 5, the other 4.
God damn it! I just looked at this too, but I don't.
Oh, I played some more Banner Saga. That's true. Did you play that yet?
No, I haven't.
this
But
good?
I did get a message back from support. I just have to do what they told me to try. The game kept crashing on me, dude.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was
Didn't hear
supposed to
about
play it Sunday, and the game crashed, and I like mailed them. I
Oh,
tried
that
like
sucks.
50,000 things. I'm so sick of uninstalling and reinstalling drivers and shit. And
I didn't know
I
that.
mean, I got it working on the Surface, which is actually pretty nice to play on. It works pretty good. But then
Really?
yeah, I don't necessarily, I want to stream it, so. But I
Huh.
haven't not played that yet.
Oh, Pit Lord. They need Pit Lord was fun
Oh,
as
Pit
oh,
Lord.
fucking
Yeah.
hero. I don't know who Su Long Wu is. I don't know who Oracle is. These are all heroes that were added in after I stopped playing Dota 1. Frost Wyvern, Pit Lord, Arc Warden. I remember that name faintly. And Oracle. Those are the 5 heroes.
Dude, Bravely Default comes out soon.
Yeah, Bravely Default is Tuesday, actually.
This Tuesday?
Is it the 7th
No,
or is it the 2nd?
it's the 7th.
What
It's the
comes out
7th.
this Tuesday? Is this Tuesday another blank?
Yeah, it does look like it.
No, I thought
Fable Anniversary.
I thought Bravely Default came out.
I'm looking at it right here. It says February 7th.
Oh, that's right, because it's Nintendo, so it comes out on like fucking Sunday. Or no, it comes out on Friday. Fucking Nintendo.
Oh, so it comes out a week from today. Yeah.
Yeah, next week. I still didn't play it. I've made the decision. We fuck handheld games. That's my
What do you
decision.
mean?
I can't. I've spent. I bought the Vita. I spent at least $1,000 on handhelds in 2013, and I have not played more than 5 hours of any game combined. Of all games combined, of all hands, I haven't played more than 5 hours on the fucking Vita and the DS combined. So fuck handhelds. Like I can't bring myself to play those games. And it's not because they're bad games. It's just that
You have a hard time finding that time.
I have a hard time finding like the time, or not the time, but the like want to sit there with a small fucking screen, like a small handheld in front of all of my monitors and blah 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 blah. I'm just like, man, why the fuck am I doing this? Like this is actually kind of boring to me. I don't want to do this. So I just stop. I also my hands are just too
I'm
big.
done with it. Yeah.
I need like a fucking triple XL Nintendo, and I don't know. I've actually thought about getting a captured kit for the 3DS and seeing if I enjoy it more when it's on a monitor.
Yeah. I would love to. I would love to do that, but I can't really justify it. You know.
It's like $500. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of pricey. It's
I
kinda
would have
pricey.
bought my 3DS that way because I know you can just pretty much buy them pre-modded and stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I think a 3DS pre-modded's around
yeah,
400.
actually, there is like a Vita TV, but I don't know if you can get it just like
No,
import
it's
it
only
into one.
Japan. Well, it works kind of, but it's only Japan right
Yeah,
now.
you got to hack
I'd
the
have to
thing.
import it.
Uh,
Yeah, I think Jeff Grossman ordered one and talked about it a lot on Giant Bomb.
so, but the what else? They're not doing anything else. I was just gonna wrap up the Dota 2 stuff. They're doing
Oh yeah,
like it's the Chinese New Year, so they took over the map with fireworks and shit. They just do a good job with that stuff.
yeah. Yeah, the team that has been working on those updates, just working on the game, does a good job. And I think from I don't have my ear too close to the pro scene of Dota simply because I don't want to like go to that level and become like that type of. I feel like, and this is gonna seem like I'm
Chasing the
shitting on.
Dota 2 monies, JP.
It's not that. It feels like I'm shitting on the Dota 2 like hardcore players by saying this, but like I don't want to become them. I don't want to become the guy that's playing with Wheat and his friends, and like someone does a bad play, and I'm just like, "What the fuck are you doing?" God fucking damn it! Why did you just fucking die to that guy? Now we got to go back and fucking tier 2 is gone. We just lost. It's your fault. It's like fuck. I don't want to become that person again. So
Don't
I'm
let me
being
be that
very
guy.
careful
I get it.
with
I get it.
what I allow myself to be exposed to in the Dota world.
I totally understand. That's why adding things like ability draft, like really kind of, that was the other thing that's really fun. I just wish that ability draft had more time.
Yeah,
I wish there was 10 seconds instead of 5.
yeah. So, someone makes the comment, but JP is already that on the inside. This is actually true. This is actually
There
you
is.
can see little bits every now when I'm playing with Wheat. I'm just like, Wheat, if that fucking asshole says goddamn thing on what I'm fucking supposed to be doing, I'm out. I'm
Well,
like,
even I have found myself a few times. I'm like, I'm the last person that should be yelling right now. And it's like, usually I'm like yelling, I'm looking down, I'm like 2, 7, 3. I'm like, shut up, Wheat. You just fucking. Oh, classic. All right, let me talk about the last game that I've been playing. Just a little bit. Hasn't been out for too long, but let's just say I've put several hours into this game way before it came out just now. And that is, recently you might have played The Quest for Epic Loot.
yeah,
That's
I
all.
played that a long time ago.
Yeah, it's
Well,
all fine and dandy, but a lot of people play that game and were like, "Oh man, I just wish I could play Dungeon Keeper again." Well, good news, sort of a surprise launch that happened this week is that EA released the brand new, like a retooled Dungeon Keeper for iPad and for iPhone. Now, before you shit your pants, hold that squirt just for a second. The game is free, but they have added a few layers of in-app purchase acceleration. So similar to the quest for epic or the mighty quest for epic loot, when you build certain machines to upgrade your dungeons, it might take 5 hours before that's done, and you could pay some coins to improve that. But that seems to be the only level of monetization I've seen so far. I haven't actually had to revive anything, because that's the other area where they usually fuck you, JP. It's like if you have to bring a character back to life, that's how they try to get you. I don't know if they have any screenshots here, but it looks fantastic, especially when you compare it to what the old game looked like. But I mean, the concept is you are the dungeon keeper. You make a dungeon, minions come in, and you have to protect the throne, man. So you put traps in, and it's a little different than it's more like a tower defense almost. In that the quest for Mighty Epic Loot was more like you playing that wizard that traversed through it, and then you also building it to prevent others from getting through to it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, if you're ever a fan of this game on the old school PC realm and you have an iOS device, I think it's definitely worth picking up.
There is a what is this fucking game called? I'll find it in 1 second. There's a game that came out for the PC, or rather, it's in early alpha right now, and it is called The Castle Doctrine. And it's the same thing as Mighty Quest for Epic Loot, in the sense that the game's actually kind of fucked up if you sit back and think about it. You are a husband of this family. You have, I think it's 2 kids and a wife, and you start with $2,000. And with this $2,000, you design a house and put traps in it, and put like guns and different things. Like there's a lot of circuitry and stuff like that, from my understanding. And then once you're done, you have to run your house to make sure it's runnable without any other.
This is an indie game?
Yes, without any other extra things that you can get to help you, like a gun or a pistol or anything. You have to be able to run it without any of this extra stuff, so that it's actually can be done. And then once that's actually passed, you go and you post it to the world, right? The internet. And this populates another this list of basically servers, and your house gets thrown into the server, and then also you're able to go into other people's houses as a robber and steal from them and steal their money and also kill their family, which is the fucked up part. But it's the same design, and the Giant Bomb guys are actually having a lot of fun with it. They've got a quick look on their page about it, but it's got that. I feel like there is a very amazing thing with these type of games, like the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot, like the Castle Doctrine, like what you just described, but no one's got it right yet.
Well, so actually, it's interesting that you say that, because as it sounds like more people have had time with the game than I have, and they say that it's not, that it is going to be more like a quest for, or a Mighty Quest for Epic Loot, and that they do eventually, you do unlock the raids and whatnot, the ability to PvE, and then they're all like, what you really want is War of the Overworld.
Oh. Okay.
Which
that's another one.
I don't know that I've necessarily heard of this game, but several folks in chat are talking about it. Apparently, you can pre-order now. Maybe it's you can get access to it on Steam.
Huh. I'll have to check it out. I think that whoever nails that, I don't even know if you can call it whoever nails that type of game, whoever nails that thing down is going to have like a huge amount of success, but no one's done it yet. They haven't figured out exactly what's the perfect way to encapsulate that style of gameplay. But I think it's very appealing. Like the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot, before I played it, I was really excited about it. Then I played it, and it was kind of lackluster.
Interesting.
I just got to figure out which one.
Dude, this sounds like it.
Good.
This sounds like it's more. Yeah. Well, I mean, based off of what everyone's saying in chat, I'm gonna keep my eye on this one. Now it's playable now, but I don't know what sort of stage it's in at this point, so it's kind of hard to say. But I agree with you. There's definitely something to the genre. People seem to like it, and I think in this day and age, you could come up with something really cool considering the hardware capabilities that we have, how big you can scale and make worlds. So before we take our break. I did not play this game yet, but it is a game that I now have and is sort of on my radar. The game looks freaking crazy good, and it's supposed to be an FPS. And it's called Strike Vector. Have you seen this or heard about it at all?
I feel like I've bought a game that has a similar name, but I'm probably thinking of the wrong one.
I mean, you're like a flying mech in a 3D space.
Oh no, sorry, I was thinking
Or
of
like a plane.
Strike Suit Zero, but no, I've not heard of Strike Vector.
Loading the screenshot. I want to show like one of the actual combat here if they're loading.
All right, here's
these
the
levels
scene.
are redonkulous.
Is it a bullet hell?
No, it's like a death match, but it's like aerial death match.
Oh, so you're actually fighting some peoples.
Yeah, and it does look legit as fuck, man.
All right, I'm watching the video. The only fast aerial FPS in the world.
Well,
Whoa, that looks sick.
yeah, right? Immediately. I mean, the engine looks really nice. The lighting and everything looks good.
Can I, if I go buy some what is it called? Hoses? What's the flight sticks called? It's like the best sticks you can buy, aren't they called
Oh, yeah,
Hoses?
I don't know about those.
Forget the name. That looks kind of crazy.
Yeah. It's one I want to, try out. Are you
kind of-
just watching the announcement trailer?
I think so.
Okay.
It reminds me a tiny bit of Hawken, only by design, but it's probably just the fact that it's just like super industrial levels.
Yeah, I don't think you're ever walking.
Well, I like that sniper. That's kind of cool.
You guys can go to strikevector.net, I believe, if you want to
Yeah, it
check
seems
out
to be lagging a little bit. The site
the
took a while
site.
for it to load.
Yeah.
It seems very fast paced.
Dude, it's like crazy how it looks like you stop in and out of, so you can sort of like go into this almost hover mode
Yeah.
where you can like have a little bit more control. Otherwise, you're pretty, you're moving pretty fast. It looks sick as shit. So I don't know. I don't know if anyone's tried it yet. Maybe
You gonna play it this weekend?
I'd like to try to, but maybe if you guys, some people say, yeah, it's not really an FPS. I don't know. I want to check it out and see what's possible. I've seen some first-person views, but
Apparently, people are saying it's Hawken in space minus bases.
okay. All right. Well,
How much is that? $10?
I do not know. Let's look up Strike Vector. Strike Vector currently available for $19.99 on sale.
$20. 20 bones.
At this
Interesting.
very moment. Okay. So when we come back, we're going to talk about some news, open up the phone lines, and I was telling JP that last week I loved that someone called in and was able to sell Might and Magic 10 to us, or more specifically to JP. So when we open up the phones, I want to try that again. If there's a game we haven't talked about, or you feel like there's a game that needs some attention, if you want to call up and pitch this game to us, we'll hear your pitch. Might throw you out. We'll hear it. And maybe just like Might and Magic, who knows what could happen. Anyway, we'll be back in just a moment. Take a quick break. When we return, the second hour of 8 Bits version 2.2. Don't go away. We'll be right back.